Welcome to the first episode of Unsolicited Advice. I am your host, Frank, and my first episode is going to be on me, my introduction to the listeners, to the people out there that said they would listen when I did my poll on social media, of course. Well, just a brief discussion of who I am and where I'm from is my name is Frank. I am from the South Bronx. I was born and raised in New York City. Uh, I moved out of New York when I was 18 years old. I joined the Navy. I wanted to do something different with my life, and I wanted to be a cop like other kids wanted to be. And I figured that joining the military and doing, 4 years at a minimum would get me to where I wanted to be. But life threw a curveball at me before I enlisted, and I had a child. So I was 17 years old with a kid, and like many other kids in New York City and many other Hispanic, Puerto Rican kids, doing things I wasn't supposed to be doing at a young age led to me having a child at 17. So it was a stepping stone. It was a way for me to feed my daughter, make sure she had medical insurance, at least for the first 4 years. But it turned into more than that because here I am, 22 years later, still serving in the Navy, and I'm back in Virginia. Well, what made me do this podcast? Why am I doing this, and why I chose to do this? For one, I feel that my life experiences have brought me to a place where I like to share my thoughts and my opinions and my views on what I see, and hoping that other people out there feel the same way I feel about those things. Um, uh, you know, Not to impose my will on my views on anybody's, you know, life, but just to give you a sense of saying, hey, man, I'm not the only one going through this, and I have an outlet to listen to somebody that um, can provide me some guidance on that. So that's what my plan is, right? So back to me. I joined the Navy in '97, got 22 years in. Had a child, like I said, before I joined. And then when I joined the service, I met my wife, who happens to be from New York as well. And we've been married for 17 years in October. We've been together 19 years so far, and we have two children together. So my kids are, 23, 16, and 12. I have two girls and a boy. The boy's in the middle, so his life is a little rough at times. But, um, you know, uh, that's me. My parents been married for 41 years, going on 42 years. I have two sisters. And through my life experiences and what I've seen, I feel like this is a great platform to get my thoughts out. I plan to discuss everything. I don't plan to be one person to have one genre and say, hey, this is what I'm going to talk about. Let's talk about business. No, I want to talk about business. I want to talk about life. I want to talk about relationships. I want to talk about experiences that we have and be open form discussion, because guess what? At the end of the day, sometimes that's needed to talk about things. One thing I will not discuss, or maybe not discuss, I don't know. I don't follow it, so I might not do it. And it's kind of touchy, as politics. Um, I voted twice since I was 18 years old, and both times they lost. I think I'm bad luck, so I don't want to keep voting and having people lose. But hey, if I do my research and maybe study up and review some policies and stuff, I might tackle it. I don't know, but that's me in a nutshell. And 2015, I talked to my wife. No, it was 16. I said, hey, love, I would like to do a podcast. She said you should. And at the time, Periscope, I discovered it, and she put me onto it. And I said, well, what's this Periscope? So she goes on and makes me a profile called Unsolicited Advice, and that's where I get the name from. And I tried it a few times. Didn't get a following like I wanted to, or I thought I needed. But then again, I didn't give it 100%. I didn't put my all into it. I was on and off doing it. I was in the process of getting back in recruiting again. Long hours. Anybody has done sales or done recruiting or in the military and done recruiting knows that that's consuming. And it takes a lot of time out of you. So I didn't plan it. I didn't budget. I didn't do anything. But I still went, tried it, whatever. And then we moved, and I said, you know what, let me get the recording equipment. And I did. I got a USB interface, a Behringer or something like that. And then got microphones, got headphones, and I started playing with it, but never did anything with it. And then I kept saying, I'm going to do it, never did it. So now I'm in Virginia. I'm back in my original MOS or rating, and my life is not as chaotic. So I decided to sit down today, out of all days, and create my first episode. And if you're asking yourself what made me think I could do this, right? Well, one, I took a poll. I went to the source, the experts. And you know where that's at? Facebook. I went on Facebook and I put it up there on my status a couple of times, and people were like, yeah, Frank, do it. Let's do it. I'm going to listen. I'm going to follow. You're funny. Let's go. And what people don't realize, I'm a very introvert person. I'm very shy. Um, I'm the guy at parties that sits by the wall and doesn't want to dance because, for one, I'm not that good at it, and two, I'm very shy when people laughing at me like, look at this guy, look at that bozo, that loser. But with the encouragement of my friends on Facebook and my family and my children saying, "Hey, Dad, do it," um, I'm gonna do it. I'm here today, and I hope that by me stepping out on this ledge to step out of my comfort zone and give you guys something of me sets an example for my children to do it too. I mean, my son does music and he's in his room in the closet rapping, and I find it funny, but he's doing it. Something I would never have done. My youngest daughter, Ava, she has gone on a stage and sang in front of 30, 40 people, something I hate even talking, and I'm trained to do that, being a recruiter previously, actually being an instructor for the Navy. I'm good at public speaking, but I'm so shy when it comes to doing it. And my oldest daughter, she's studied abroad. I don't think I've ever would have thought of studying abroad when I was her age. But, I've traveled, and I appreciate that she stepped out of her comfort zone and went and lived somewhere abroad for 6 months and wants to go back. I think that's dope. So I got a good support system that's pushing me and to do this, and with God's will, and I'm gonna do it. Now, whether I fall on my face and this takes off, doesn't matter. At least I can say I tried. At least I could, when I'm on my deathbed and I'm sitting there struggling to live, I can say, you know what? I lived my life to the fullest. So that's what made me think that I could do this. Now, what I plan on bringing? Well, what I plan on bringing is like I said, content that people can relate to, that are important to me and that could be important to other people. I plan on having my wife and I do an episode on relationships. Have my children sit down and talk about social injustice and how it affects them as a whole. Co-workers of mine, maybe you could tell sea stories. And for you people that don't know what a sea story is us telling stories of back in the day when we was young in the Navy, sea stories. And talk about sports. I have a good coworker of mine. When we're at work, her and I go back and forth on football all the time. And I always say we should do a podcast. And you know what? I think I'm going to bring that to light. I think I am. I have a good business partner that I would love to bring on this and have a conversation about his view on business. And I want to bring different content to the world in my own delivery, flawed and all. Hearing the dogs walking in the background, my wife yelling at the kids. I don't mind that. That's me. That's my life. If I want to be Howard Stern or somebody else, I would have got me a booth and created a soundproof situation and gave you that. But no, this is me. I think real is priceless. I think authenticity is priceless. I think us being who we are and letting the world see it or hear it is priceless. One thing about reality TV is not really reality. They have to re-record stuff that happens, and sometimes you hear them faking and posing for the camera, and that's not what I want to do. So, this is me. This is the first episode. I don't know how much content I'm going to give you. Maybe 10 minutes to start off with. Probably more than once or twice a week. But for right now, it's my first episode. And again, it's my introduction to my listeners, to my friends, to my followers, and say who I am and where I come from and what I'm bringing to you that's probably different. And I hope you enjoy it. And I hope we can do this continuously until I can't do it no more. So thank you for listening. Thank you for taking the time out to hear me for the first 9 minutes of my podcast. But thank you very much.